Voy a empezar nuevamente con la introducción contándoles que hoy es un día muy especial porque tenemos a Ana María que vino desde Durham a Colombia a compartir con ustedes todo lo que tiene esta institución para ofrecer. Les mencionaba anteriormente que Colfuturo tiene una colaboración muy generosa con esta universidad. Tenemos una beca del 100% para un beneficiario de Colfuturo y quienes no se ganan esa beca del 100% pueden recibir un descuento del 20% en el valor de su matrícula. Esto aplica para todas las maestrías a excepción del programa de MBA. Entonces recuerden que lo que hacemos es que adicional a los $50,000 de Colfuturo, ustedes pueden tener estos recursos por parte de la universidad. Y la idea de hoy es que Ana María les va a contar qué tiene la Universidad de Durham, qué pueden estudiar, cuáles son las fortalezas. Otra cosa importante es que los habíamos invitado presencialmente a Colfuturo para que la pudieran conocer y hablar con ella. Sin embargo, sabemos que por tráfico muchos de ustedes no pueden venir a Colfuturo. Sin embargo, les quiero contar que ella va a estar hasta las 6 de la tarde. Así que si ustedes alcanzan a llegar antes de las 5:30, los invito a que se animen a venir a Colfuturo, a hablar personalmente con ella y poderles contar sus casos particulares. Asimismo, también les cuento que Ana María también va a estar en las ferias de BMI este fin de semana en Bogotá y martes y miércoles en Cali y en Medellín. Entonces, si no pueden venir hoy acá, vayan y búsquenla en la feria. Entonces, sin más preámbulos, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for organizing this great session. And thank you to all of you who have joined us now online. I'm going to share my screen, or actually I think you might be seeing it, but let me know in the chat if you're not. And I'm going to tell you a bit about Durham, and then we might have some questions, time for questions and answers as well, because I'm very keen to hear from you, to hear your questions. If you have specific questions about your own case, or if you have any doubts about what you're supposed to study or anything like that, that's why I'm here. So just to introduce myself, I'm Anna. I'm the International Officer for Latin America at Durham. I come from Romania, and I was a student myself at Durham for both undergraduate and master's programs, and I loved it so much I never left, so I'm still around, working for the university and supporting students in their journeys. So I've been once in your shoes as well, and I'm very passionate and excited I can actually help you with any questions or doubts you might have. So before we open the floor to questions, I'll just share a bit more about Durham. I don't know how much you know, but I'll just share a bit about where we are located, our rankings, what is special or different at Durham compared to other UK universities, the courses we offer, what sort of things you need to apply and to be accepted, of course, the Colfuturo partnership we have, and some resources. So I can tell you 3 main reasons why you should consider studying at Durham. The first one will be its location. So as you can see on the map, we are in the northeast of England. We are on the main train line that unites London and Edinburgh. And we are not far from Newcastle, which is a bigger city. It's only 12 minutes by train, and it has an international airport. So I flew actually from Newcastle yesterday to Bogota. Durham itself is quite small, so I think it's important for you to realize this. But like I said, it's not in the middle of nowhere, and it's not far away from bigger cities. It's under 3 hours by train from London, so you can easily hop on a train at the weekend and explore the capital. Now, why am I saying that this is a reason why you should consider Durham due to its location? When I applied, I had quite some requirements or criteria I bear in mind when I chose my university, one of them being the financial aspect. If that is important for you, I think Durham is a really good place to study in because it's further away from the south and the living expenses are much lower. So for me as a student, that was very important. It's a very green and very safe city. So again, that was important for me. I always felt safe in the city, walking by myself at night. Not that I recommend it, but whenever I was having, late night sessions in the library or anything like that, I always felt safe to be around. It's a very student-friendly city. It's very close to beautiful countryside and the beaches to the North Sea as well. So we're not far from the coast. And it's a really, really nice place to live in. Well, I've been here 10 years, so you can tell that I really love it. I've just shared some photos here of the things you can see around. So like I mentioned, we're not far from the coast. You can see Tynemouth or St. Mary's Lighthouse on the right. We have loads of castles around. So one of my favorites, one is Bamberg Castle. It's right on the beach, basically. And also Annie Castle, where they actually filmed some Harry Potter scenes as well. But there are many other things you can see. The second reason why you might want to consider Durham as a place to study is that it's the third oldest university in England, and it actually has over 30% of students, international students, coming from 130 countries. So another thing I really loved about my experience is that you don't just come here and have colleagues from the UK, you have colleagues from all over the world. And I still am in touch with a lot of my colleagues, and I go and visit them all around the world. So it's a really nice thing to experience, a very multicultural, international environment. We also have UNESCO World Heritage Sites on our doorstep, including Durham Cathedral that you can see in this photo. And this plays a very important role in your student journey, because you start your studies with a ceremony there, and then you graduate with a ceremony there as well, with graduation. So I think it's a very overwhelming experience to have. And also they filmed some Harry Potter scenes in there. I shouldn't say this, but that was also one of the reasons I chose Durham. But it's a really nice place. And you can see opposite it, you can see the castle. And that's actually one of our 17 colleges of residence. So I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. These are some photos I took in the cathedral. Like, as you can see, it's a very impressive place. It's almost 1,000 years old, and very popular with tourists. And I included some photos of the place as well. I know that some of you might not be able to travel and explore the place, so these are some photos of how the city and the campus look like. You can see it's very green. You have the river, you have all the nature close by, lots of hikes. We have the shopping centers as well. It's quite a small one, but you have everything you need. The cafes, the restaurants, study spaces, hairdressers, anything you would need from a town. And you can see it's kind of the medieval sort of old English town with cobbled, narrow streets as well. And, I said Durham is quite small, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It's actually quite a vibrant, lively city. And I included some examples here of the Christmas markets we have, or the rowing competitions we have every June. And also one of my favorite festivals, you can see in the first and last photos, is the Lumiere Festival that happens every 2 years. And it basically consists of light installations all around town. And it's very popular with tourists and students alike. Now, this is just a bit more information and background about the location and about Durham in general. But you should probably also consider Durham based on its reputation. I don't know how many of you know that it's a top 5 in UK university and world top 100. So you can easily tell that the quality of education is very high. We are part of Russell Group, which is a research-intensive group of universities, and our quality of teaching has been ranked as gold, which is the highest standard. So, this is just something to bear in mind. We do have quite a lot of subjects in world top 50 and world top 100. And I can tell you a bit more if you're interested about any particular subject as well. But another thing to bear in mind is that we've been top 30 in the world most international universities. So remember how I was saying it's a very international environment. This is just a ranking to kind of, support that. And we've also been first in the UK for team sport since 2013, actually. So Durham is not only about academics and good rankings, but also about lots of extracurricular activities you can do here as well. And maybe a third reason why you want to consider Durham is its unique collegiate system. As I mentioned, not all UK universities have this, mainly Oxford and Cambridge. And that's another thing I really loved about my experience at Durham. And I think, it provides a very good opportunity for you to have a very vibrant student experience. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what the college was when I applied or when I came to Durham. The easiest way I understood it, what the college was, is that it's like a Harry Potter house, but we don't have 4, we have 17. I don't know how many of you read or seen the movies, but it's very easy to understand if you know what I mean. It's very easy to understand how these colleges are formed. So basically they form part of your social experience with us here at Durham. That's in addition to your academic department. And you can, when you apply, I can tell you more about these details, but You can express a preference for a college. It's not 100% guaranteed you get your first preference, and I'll tell you why. As I mentioned, we have 17 of them. One of them is a castle in pictured here. And I guess most of the students want to be in the castle. So they cannot possibly put everyone in the castle. So I guess they have a certain number of students in different departments that they can accept in each college. But it doesn't really matter that much if you don't get your first preference, because all colleges have similar structures and you'll get the similar experience anywhere you would go. And it's not like if you are accepted into a college, you cannot go to other colleges and join their events, social balls and concerts and everything in between. So you'll have friends from all the colleges basically in your department. You can stay in college if you can secure a room as a postgraduate student, or you can live in private rented accommodation, which a lot of postgraduate students do, and I did that myself. However, you are still a member of a college and you can get involved there in lots of activities. So in each college, there is a mixture of undergraduate and postgraduate students, apart from UCINOV in this photo that only has postgraduate students only. But it also offers family accommodation. So we actually had a scholar that came from Venezuela with her husband and 2 children, and the college provided that sort of accommodation. That's one of my favorite photos in this presentation. It shows one of the traditions that we have here at Durham, and that is the gowned formal dinners. That was another highlight of my student experience here, and I enjoyed that very much. This is actually the dining hall of University College, the oldest one, the castle. And you can see here, students just having dinners with their peers, and you have the professors at the high table as well, and employees from the college as well. In addition to that, you have your accommodation, you have a dining hall, but you could also have, social events like concerts or balls. And each college has, in addition to that, they have a gym, a library, a bar, a cafe, study spaces, so everything you need basically at your doorstep. You could also develop personal skills and get involved in college life and college societies, but you also have additional personal support as well.
Sorry to interrupt,
no
but
worries.
they are not seeing your screen. Could you please turn it on?
Yeah, okay. I'll try again, sorry. The thing is that I can't see their chat when I'm sharing that, so that's why. Thanks for letting me know. I'll try again, no worries.
Thank you.
Let's try again. I don't know why it was knocked. Don't you just love technology? Right. So yeah, I was just saying that it's really good, when you come from a different country to study, you basically move your whole life in a different country. And I've been there. I know how challenging it can be. And what's really good about this college system is that you don't only have your support from your academic advisor in your department or the counseling services. At Durham, you also have additional personal support in college. So you have a student support office where you could go with any problems you might have, financial, anything in between. And they are there to support you and signpost you to the relevant support and advice. There are also welfare teams. So I was part of a student welfare team during my postgraduate studies, because some students might not feel comfortable talking to someone in the student support office. They might want to talk to their peers. So we are trained to actually listen to your problems and support you and signpost you to the relevant support available. So I think that's really good to bear in mind, thinking that you completely change a whole culture and country to come and study. I won't spend too much time on this. This is just to show you, because I know it can be confusing sometimes when I say we have colleges or a collegiate system. They are all within the same place. They are all within Durham city. They are not scattered around the country. Everything is within walking distance. Like I said, Durham is really small. It's really good that you don't have to spend money on transport or anything like that. You can walk anywhere. You could have a bike if you wanted to. We have buses as well with discounted rates for students. We actually have loads of discounts. So if you're interested about that, I can tell you more about it. So you can see, the train station is here. 10-15 minutes away is the cathedral with the city center and some older, more traditional colleges that have, the gown formal dinners. And then 10-15 minutes away, we have the science side with some departments, and then some other departments and colleges on the hill as well. So it's all within walking distance. And these are just some other photos. I actually included a photo of me during my postgraduate studies as well. I was at the gown formal dinner in Hill Bid College. So like I said, you can go in other colleges and enjoy their events. I was in Grey College, so it doesn't matter that much. You can make friends from all over. And of course, some college, activities, the music events, rowing, football, basketball, whatever you can think of, and the college balls. So in addition to all of this college experience, if you're interested in theater or music, Durham is the right place to be as well. We have about 90 student theater productions a year, and they actually go to Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is one of the biggest and most popular ones in the UK. And we've been ranked first in the UK for music as well. So we have over 80 student-led music societies. And we have the clubs and societies at the Students' Union. I think every UK university has a Students' Union. We have over 200 clubs and societies, from academic to faith-based to sport and charity, and the social and fun ones as well, like Quidditch or Chocolate Appreciation Society, like the very silly ones. But you could just meet people in all sorts of clubs and societies. I was part of Meditation Society, Romanian and Psychology Society, and also Latin Social Dancing Society. And I met a lot of Latin American friends in that society that I still keep in contact with today. And if sport is your thing, we've been #1 in DK for team sports since 2013. Like I mentioned, we have about 18 students, 18 sports played by students at Durham. And we have a maiden castle here with all the relevant equipment. So, just to bear that in mind. I think I spent quite a lot of time on the overall university rankings, the 3 reasons why you should consider it. And now I'll tell you a bit more about the courses. And again, if you have specific questions, very happy to advise. But as in general, these are our 4 faculties, and you can see the different departments underneath. Another thing I really liked about my time at Durham is that you can actually tailor your degree according to your interests. And we have a very broad course range as well. So I think that's really good. Our business school, for example, is triple accredited, and I think less than 1% of business school worldwide has that accreditation. They also offer scholarships. A lot of Latin American students come to study business at Durham. So this is just an example of the quality of our faculties as well. And the degree structure. So of course, with Call Futura, you qualify either for a postgraduate taught or a postgraduate research master's, apart from MBA. And in the UK, I don't know how much you know, but the masters usually are 1 year long, both the taught and the postgraduate by research ones. And then you have the PhD or doctorado, which is usually 3 years long. So I have a QR code there. You could actually scan it with your phones, and it takes you to all the programs that we have, and then the modules that each program has. I think it's really good for you to research in advance to be aware of the structure of your program in case you want to apply, but I'm very happy to guide you as well. And what's really good is that in the UK, it's not only a teacher teaching you something and you're just listening and writing things down. They actually teach you in a variety of ways, including tutorials, seminars, maybe field work, depending on what you study. Actually, I had some work placements as well during my studies, because that was part of the course, like psychology in the workplace module, and so on. So, it's a really good combination of ways of teaching, and also they really teach you how to think critically, which is something that I didn't really have in my education back at home. So for me, it was a new thing and a thing that I really appreciated. A good place to start is the course database, but I can guide you through, and if you have questions, we could even have like a one-to-one separately if you wanted to. I have like a booking, like a signing up system for you to book an informal chat with me. But basically in this database, you just write whatever you might want to study, and then it comes up with our programs. And I just included an example. It's really good to do that as a first thing you research, because we have the course details, the entry requirements, how much it costs, how to apply, and so on. So this is like a sort of summary for you that will be very useful when you start researching the programs. And now you might be wondering, okay, so what do you need to actually apply? I'll just mention the master. I assume most of you might want a master's or a PhD, so I'll just focus on the postgraduate entry requirement. It's very simple. Unlike other countries, for example, the US, it's very straightforward, very transparent. What you need is licenciatura, or like an undergraduate degree in Colombia, from a good Colombian institution with a promedio or an overall score of 3.8 or higher. So as simple as that. If you have that, you have good chances to get an offer. The MBA candidates will require more than 3 years of management experience. And then if you want to apply for doctorate, you need to have a master's degree from a good institution in Colombia as well. And of course, not to forget that you will need an English language test, such as an Ielts or a Cambridge, or everything in between. I can tell you what sort of tests we accept. And the level of the English language depends on what program you apply for. So again, I can actually advise you on that. The application process is really simple. You'll just need to have your transcript, so your statement of marks in original form and translated by a legal translator, so certified. Your degree certificate, the one that says you've been awarded a certain degree in Colombia, original and translated. The English language test, like I mentioned. A personal statement. So I can guide you through this as well if you have questions. It's basically a short essay, like 1 page long, for you to say why you want to study that course and why in the UK, why at Durham, and why they should pick you for that particular program. And of course, 2 academic references, just to show the assessors that you have good track record and you have good academic skills or good job skills, depending on what you want to apply for. If you have more questions about how much it costs, let me know. The costs for the new academic year are still to be put up, but I can tell you what they've been in 2022 entry. And I can tell you a bit more about, how much the accommodation costs as well, and the living costs. But bear in mind, like I said, in the northeast of England, it's much lower than down south, and certainly much lower than London. So if that is important for you, I think it's good to consider it and be aware of it. I think I'll just reiterate what has been said at the beginning. Our great partnership with Whole Food Row. We are very grateful for this, very excited to have this partnership. We've got amazing students through it, and that's why I'm here to talk to you and to show you that there is an opportunity. If you really want to study abroad in the UK, there is an opportunity for you to receive support. So we offer a full tuition fee scholarship for one Whole Food Row student accepted onto a taught postgraduate program apart from MBA. And then all the other students will get a 20% discount on tuition fees. The way we assess the full tuition fee waiver will be selected by us after the results of Whole Food Row are announced, and we are basically looking at your whole application and your academic track record and your personal statement. There are some resources. Again, the QR code, if you want to scan it, you'll actually be able to see the a virtual tour of the campus. I know you might not be able to travel there just for that, so maybe if you want to have a look for yourselves and just wander around, you could actually do that. You can follow us on Instagram as well. I think it's a very good, I assume a lot of people are on Instagram nowadays. It's a very good way to kind of learn a bit more about the university and the students that go there and the vibe. So, it's good to do that. And there are some other website links, but we can definitely share this presentation with you to click and explore at your own pace. And of course, if you want to WhatsApp me or email me, you have my credentials there. You can even chat with current students and ask them questions about their experience. That can be done through the Unibody platform. And we also work with agents in the country that can actually support you and help you with your application to us, funding application, visa process, and so on, free of charge, because they are our partners. So you could also, talk to them and let them guide you in case you need it. And I think that would be it for me. So if you want to book an informal chat with me, you can do so by scanning that code. And I'm very happy to take any questions that might have been in the chat, or just feel free to ask me any questions now. Like I said, these are 2 photos from my undergraduate and master's graduation days. Like I said, they are in the cathedral. It's a very special moment. They actually call out your name and you shake hands with the chancellor, and it's a very interesting date or something to experience, and it's something that stuck with me as an alumna from Durham. Right, so let's see. I'll just probably stop sharing. Or should I leave it up? What will be best?
I was trying to use my computer to read the questions, but
right.
if I do it, we'll have like double sound. So,
No worries.
I think it would be better if we are here, as I mentioned before, together. So please feel free to send your questions. We are going to send you the presentation later this week. However, we haven't seen any question on the chat. So I will take this opportunity to ask Anna to tell you where is she going to be here in Colombia, why is she here in Colombia, and how can you meet her in person?
Yes. So if you can make it today, I'll be at the BMI fairs on Saturday and Sunday in Bogota. That will be at the Grand Hyatt Hotel. It's not very far away from the Colfutur office. So if you have questions about that, let me know. I can send you the link where you can register. It's all for free. You can just register and come and meet me and other UK universities and other universities all around the world. So I think it's a good opportunity for you to come and say hi. And I'll also be in Medellin. Medellin. I think that will be Wednesday. On Wednesday. And then on Friday, on Thursday is Cali. So you could also, if you're from there, and if it's easier for you to go there, we can also meet there.
And also, we are receiving some questions, but it will be great if you can send us, where are you located? If you are in Bogota, if you are in Cali, in Medellin. So let's go with the questions while you start typing, where are you located? So hello, thanks for the presentation. What's the age limit for master's degree applications? That's important.
There is no age limit. So, it doesn't matter. You could apply whatever your age. There's not a problem.
So here, David is asking about the TOEFL IBT, but I will change a little bit the question, asking you if you accept TOEFL IBT, what is the score? If you accept Ielts, what is the score? Like more about the test.
Yes. So we do accept TOEFL IBT, and I think in the pandemic they had an IBT home edition, so we accepted that as well. We accept Ielts as well. I think it's between 6 and 7.5. And like I said, that depends on the program you apply for. So for example, if you want to study law, the English language requirement is much higher. So you'll need to have, maybe a 7 in all components, or no component under 6.5, but 7 in writing or something like that. So it's all a variation of, and I'm talking about Ielts. Same with TOEFL IBT. If you have specific questions, I can see David asked about finance. David, I can let you know exactly what you need for the TOEFL IBT in finance. And I can actually share a a website link for you to have a look at, if that would be easier. Yeah.
So go ahead. We will send you the link for the event on
Yes.
Saturday, but let us. We are here like trying to manage all the things. So I will go to my computer and send them from there, so Anna can answer the next question. They are asking you, which master degree did you do?
That's a good question, actually, because so I did my undergraduate degree in psychology. So when I came from Romania to the UK for the first time, I did psychology. But then my master's degree was in visual arts and culture. So it's quite different, isn't it? You could tell that I had no idea what to do with my life. But it's fine, because with certain masters, you don't necessarily need a background. Well, if it's a master's in law or engineering, of course, you need a background in that course, because there's no way you could cram 3 years of learning of engineering into one. But if you did something else and you want to try something different, that's also possible. And it's something that I really loved as well, because, I love psychology, but it's a very scientific approach in the UK, and especially at Durham, the program I had, it was very scientific. We did statistics, research methods, and I really like that. But my brain is more like humanities side rather than science. So, I struggled a bit. It was quite challenging, but I've been very well supported, and I graduated with a good degree, with a good mark. But then I thought, you know what? I don't want to do maths anymore. Like, I'm tired of doing maths. I don't want to do any statistics. I just want something to do with humanities, something with art. And they actually opened that master's that very year when I applied. They had some scholarships as well. So, I was very lucky to do that. And I kind of had the experience of both the science faculty and the arts and humanities faculty. So I can tell you a bit more about both, basically.
So I just send you the links for the fair and also for the language requirements from the university.
Thank you.
So we have another question from Johan, who says that he's in Bogota and he's asking, is mandatory to go to study full-time, or is it possible part-time at night?
Usually when students come to the UK to study, it is full-time, and I think it's something to do with immigration as well. I'm not really sure, because I'm not allowed to give immigration advice, but usually it's a full-time, and especially for scholarships or anything like that support, it's usually the full-time. We do have part-time options. I'm not sure how that would work with your visa. If you want to study at the same time, I don't know if you'll need to be a different visa, but if you come as a full-time student, you can still work part-time, but not more than 20 hours per week or something like that. So your visa allows you to work, and I actually worked quite a lot as a student, so I can tell you a bit more about that as well.
So Santiago Araujo has a question that is also a question that I would like to ask you. For the law courses, what is the LNAT and what are the requirements?
Right, so the LNAT, that's mostly for undergraduate courses only.
Okay.
And from what I know, is like an exam, a law exam that all UK universities ask for when you apply for an undergraduate law degree. If you apply for a master's, you don't need that, I don't think, because you'll already need to have an undergraduate degree in law. Okay. So that is basically if you are interested in undergraduate study. But I guess if you want a master's in law, you don't need to worry about that. Yeah.
Okay, so Joanna is asking if you know any scholarships for programs in law. She can apply to Colfuturo because one of the requirements is to have cosigners, and she doesn't have the cosigners. So she is asking if there are any opportunities to get a scholarship for LLM programs.
I mean, yes, there are other scholarships available, and the most obvious one is cheapening. I think they actually are open until 1st of November this year, so it's quite early in the cycle. You kind of need to have some work experience or volunteering experience to apply, but I think it's a very good scholarship and it covers all the costs. So I do recommend you to look into it if you're interested, and let me know if you need more information.
Something else related to language. Is the IELTS academic or general IELTS?
I think it's the academic one. So it's just the one that UKVI, that's the immigration group, that the one they approve. So yeah, I don't think it's, I think it might be both. So I don't think it's a problem. I'll double check this with you. But if it's the UKVI one approved, that's the perfect. the perfect IELTS.
So I think we are seeing where is Anna email. So if you want, you can
Yeah.
contact her and
Yeah.
send the question.
Yeah.
We have another question from Sergio, and he's asking, how can I contact a professor of the Masters in Music to receive instructions for the application in violin?
Sergio, you can contact me and I can put you in touch or send you the list of all the academic members of staff we have. All departments have that, and especially if you want, for students that want a doctorado or a master's by research, you usually need to contact professors in advance to help you with your, to send your research proposal or to ask questions. So I'm very happy to help with putting you in touch with the relevant person in the music department.
And Paola is asking about, on average, how much money would it take to live in Durham for a month?
As a student.
Important question. As a student, it's important to mention that.
Well, that depends, doesn't it? Depends on your spending habits. But I can tell you, as a student coming from a different country, I try to spend as little as possible. I found the cheapest rents. I cooked for myself. So, if you do all of that, it can be quite a manageable amount. I'm usually careful when I kind of say a sum, because I don't want students then to come and say, oh, but you said I can deal with this money and actually I cannot. So it all depends on, your spending habits. Let's say £1,000 a month, but, it's just give it, I think that's more than enough. But, if you want to go out every week to the restaurant, or if you want to go and travel around, or, if you don't really cook much, or if you want to stay in the city center where the rent is the most expensive one, then yes, it can go up very easily. But at the same time, you can find cheaper rent, and it's not a lot to pay for, like, your basic sort of products and then food. Having said that, everybody's kind of struggling now with inflation. And I think it's a post-pandemic sort of situation that a lot of countries have, not only the UK, but yeah, it's been a lot of talk about how the prices have, risen. But there are some tips I can tell you about how to save as a student. There are lots of student discounts. You can apply to have like a totem card, which gives you discounts on a lot of things. So I can tell you a bit more about that if you need that sort of advice, coming from a student that had to be very careful with that as well.
Silvana wants to know, do you think that the masters in Durham University are mostly self-taught?
Self-taught. Well, it depends on how you want to see things. I would say that usually masters in the UK, they do rely a lot on independent studying, and not only masters, undergraduate degrees as well. So you're already at a higher level where they actually teach you something, but you have to rely on your own independence. They kind of guide you. It's like taking your hand and taking you and showing you the view, but you kind of have to stay there and explore that more for yourself. And that's what higher education is about. So it's not necessarily self-taught, especially if it's a taught master's. You are guided, you do receive support, but it's up to you to put in the hours. So if you look at the handbooks, actually it says you have this much time of contact hours, like 3 hours a week or whatever it is, and then this much time of independent studying, which is like more than 100 hours. So compared to like 20 hours of contact with 100 hours of studying, well, yes, they do hold your hand, but you have to kind of do the work yourself. So I don't think it's necessarily self-taught, but in a way, yes, it's a lot about independent reading, independent studying, and everything in between. Yeah.
So we don't have any other questions. Just to thank you for being here, and
I
hope that you that are online can visit Anna in Bogota, in Medellin, or Cali. She will be happy to talk to you, and please let her know that you were here in this session, so she will already know you already have some information and can share things that are different or can help you to build your project. So thank you so much, and have a great afternoon.